Imagine, if you will, the San Andreas Fault, that sleeping giant, suddenly cracking wide open. This vast geological feature, a scar running through the landscape of California, is more than just a line on a map. It's a tectonic boundary where the Pacific and North American plates meet, a place of immense pressure and potential energy. In the world of geology, these fault lines are the epicenters of a ceaseless battle, where Earth's colossal plates grind against each other. Over time, stress accumulates at these boundaries. Every so often, that stress must go somewhere, and it's released in the form of an earthquake. Now consider the San Andreas Fault, a strike-slip fault stretching over 800 miles, where the Pacific plate moves northwest relative to the North American plate. This movement isn't smooth though. The plates are stuck, and with each passing second, more and more stress builds up. Scientists refer to a potential earthquake on this fault line as a megaquake, a tremor of such magnitude that it could alter the course of history. Imagine a quake so powerful that it reshapes coastlines, obliterates cities, and triggers tsunamis. This is not the stuff of science fiction, but a very real possibility grounded in the science of our ever-shifting Earth. But it's not all doom and gloom. Knowledge is power, and understanding the science behind earthquakes allows us to better prepare for these natural disasters. It's a race against time, a quest to understand the complex mechanisms at play beneath our feet and to predict when the next big one will strike. So what would happen if this sleeping giant were to suddenly awaken? That's a question that sends shivers down the spines of many. But fear not, for as we journey further into this topic, we'll delve into the science, the potential impacts, and the measures we can take to protect ourselves when the Earth begins to shake. So brace yourselves, because we're about to wake the sleeping giant. The moment the San Andreas Fault cracks, it's a seismic event of historical proportions. The Earth doesn't merely tremble, it convulses, violently shaking everything on and around it. The ground splits open, buildings crumble, highways buckle, bridges collapse. The shockwaves radiate outwards, reaching far beyond the epicenter, making the world sit up and take notice. This isn't just an earthquake, it's a geologic titan awakening from a deep slumber. As the dust settles, the landscape is unrecognizable. The once familiar cityscape is now a mangled testament to the raw power of nature. But the immediate aftermath is not the end of the story. It's merely the first act in a geological drama that's yet to fully unfold. Following the main quake, the Earth continues to grumble and groan. These are the aftershocks, smaller tremors that can persist for days, weeks, or even months. They're less intense than the main quake, but they're far from harmless. Aftershocks can trigger landslides, cause already damaged structures to collapse, and hamper rescue and recovery efforts. But the real concern isn't just the aftershocks, it's the fault itself. The San Andreas is a strike-slip fault, meaning the tectonic plates slide past each other horizontally. But new research suggests even strike-slip faults can trigger tsunamis under certain conditions. And with the San Andreas Fault cutting through the Californian coast, the potential for a tsunami is a chilling thought. Scientists are still learning about these phenomena, and much remains unknown. We don't yet fully understand the conditions that lead to tsunamis being triggered by strike-slip faults. We don't know when the next big quake will hit, or how powerful it will be. But we do know one thing: when the San Andreas Fault cracks, the world listens. But the earthquake is only the beginning. What follows could be even more devastating. In the wake of the earthquake, something even more terrifying emerges: a tsunami. This colossal wave, the child of seismic chaos, is born from the intense energy released when the San Andreas Fault shifts. But how does a quake trigger a tsunami? Let's dive into it. The San Andreas Fault, a strike-slip fault, primarily moves horizontally. However, recent studies have challenged the idea that only vertical movement at underwater thrust faults can generate tsunamis. Evidence suggests that under certain conditions, even a strike-slip fault like San Andreas can stir up these monstrous waves. When the fault ruptures, it releases an enormous amount of energy, enough to disturb the ocean floor. This disturbance displaces vast volumes of water, creating a series of waves radiating outward from the epicenter. These waves, initially small in the open ocean, gather speed and size as they race toward the shore, transforming into a tsunami. Now imagine the progression of this tsunami. Out in the deep ocean, it's almost unnoticeable. The waves are often less than a foot high, but they can stretch hundreds of miles across. As they approach the shoreline, the shallowing seabed compresses the waves, causing them to slow down and dramatically increase in height. What was once a ripple in the ocean's surface morphs into a towering wall of water, often reaching heights of up to 100 feet. This is not a single wave but a series of waves known as a wave train. The first wave to hit the shore might not be the biggest, and the danger can last for hours after the initial wave makes landfall. The water can surge up rivers and streams, flooding areas far inland and causing extensive damage. As the tsunami races across the ocean, nothing in its path is safe. This mighty wave, born of tectonic unrest, can reshape coastlines, demolish cities, and rewrite the course of history in its relentless advance. When the tsunami reaches land, the devastation is almost unimaginable. Picture this. The roaring wave, an undeniable force of nature, crashes onto the shore, instantly reshaping the coastline. Buildings that once stood tall are reduced to rubble in the blink of an eye. Streets that once bustled with life are now submerged beneath a relentless torrent of water. This is the destructive power of a tsunami. Loss of life is unfortunately an inevitable consequence of such a catastrophic event. Thousands, potentially even tens of thousands of lives could be lost in the initial wave alone. Emergency services would be overwhelmed, struggling to reach those in need amidst the chaos and destruction. In the aftermath, survivors would face the daunting task of searching for their loved ones amidst the ruins. Beyond the immediate human toll, the property damage would be colossal. Entire neighborhoods would be wiped off the map, businesses destroyed, critical infrastructure such as power plants, hospitals, and schools, all decimated. The cost of rebuilding would run into the billions, perhaps even trillions of dollars, a financial burden that would be felt for generations. And then there are the long-term environmental impacts. The tsunami would not only reshape the physical landscape, but also drastically alter local ecosystems. Salt water could inundate freshwater sources, making them undrinkable. The sudden influx of water and debris could destroy habitats, leading to a significant loss of biodiversity. The recovery of these ecosystems could take decades, if not centuries. But it doesn't end there. With the disruption of local economies and the displacement of communities, the tsunami would also trigger a humanitarian crisis. Food, water, and shelter would become scarce commodities. Disease could spread rapidly in the cramped and unsanitary conditions of temporary shelters. The ripple effects of the disaster would be felt far beyond the immediate area of impact. The aftermath of such a tsunami would be a scene of unimaginable devastation. This is not just a hypothetical scenario. It is a stark reminder of the destructive power of nature and the vulnerability of our societies. It underscores the urgent need for better tsunami early warning systems, improved infrastructure, and comprehensive disaster management strategies. Because when it comes to tsunamis, it's not a matter of if, but when. After the waters recede, the long road to recovery begins. This path is paved with the resilience and determination of those affected, the very epitome of human spirit. The first step in this journey is the rescue efforts. Emergency services aided by international aid organizations work tirelessly to search for survivors amidst the wreckage. The process is painstaking and often dangerous, but every life saved is a testament to the power of hope and persistence. Then begins the mammoth task of rebuilding. Entire cities may have been wiped off the map, homes lost, infrastructure destroyed. Yet the will to reclaim what was lost propels the recovery process forward. Governments, nonprofit organizations, and individuals come together, pooling resources and manpower to reconstruct homes, schools, hospitals, and other essential structures. There's also the task of restoring utilities and communication lines, a critical aspect of bringing normalcy back to the affected regions. Power lines are mended, water treatment plants are brought back online, and cell towers are rebuilt, reconnecting people with each other and the world. Simultaneously, efforts are made to rehabilitate the environment. The tsunami's fury may have altered landscapes, destroyed habitats, and caused significant ecological damage. Environmentalists and scientists collaborate to restore ecosystems, replant forests, and protect endangered species, ensuring that the region's natural beauty and biodiversity recover alongside its human inhabitants. Yet the recovery isn't just physical. The psychological toll of experiencing such a catastrophic event is immense. Counseling and mental health services become crucial in healing the emotional wounds inflicted by the disaster, helping individuals and communities navigate their grief and trauma. The economic impact, too, can be long-lasting. The destruction of businesses and industries can cripple local economies. Policies and strategies are implemented to stimulate economic recovery, promoting entrepreneurship and creating job opportunities. After a tsunami, the world may seem irrevocably changed, and in many ways, it is. But it's in these moments of profound upheaval that the indomitable spirit of humanity is truly revealed. We adapt, we rebuild, we grow stronger. We learn from the past, prepare for the future, and continue to live and thrive, always respectful of the immense power of our planet. In the face of such catastrophe, the resilience of humanity shines brightest.